Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome to yet another episode on Little Slav YouTube channel. Today, we are going to see about the Git Add command in the Git videos section. So previously, we saw about Git init and the various other Git configuration. If you have not watched it, please do check the description for the links. So today, let's see what is a Git Add command and what does it do for the developer who uses the Git and for the DevOps engineers. And we'll also see what are the various options that the Git Add gives us. So before we move on to the video, this is me, Vasant Shanmugam, and I request you all to subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed yet. Like the video, comment your questions and your feedbacks in the comment section, and share the video with your friends. So with no further ado, let's go into the video. So first, let's open the Git command, the Git window. So we have the Git bash, and I will show you the Git GUI as well. So that will show you how does the Git add works with the various staging and the unstaging and the working directories. So there are two ways to open. Either we can choose from the start option, and then we have to navigate to the folder. For that, we can use the pwd to find the present working directory. And then by using the ls, we can see what are the folders we have. So let me go this way. So we have this folder, and under which we'll have to go to the C drive. So now we are in the C drive, and let's cd into the Vasant folder. And then we have the Little Slav folder. And then let's now go into the Git folder. So now we are inside our Git folder where we can perform our operations. And this is too lengthy and complex to perform. So we have other option as well. And let me show you that. So we can directly go to the folder where we have our files and just right click on the location and click on show more options. Or if you're working in Windows 10, you'll have the option where you can find this Git bash here and Git GUI here. So which will directly take us to this folder location. So let's open that. So for now, I'm opening the Git bash here. And this has taken us to that folder which we have. And then let me open the Git GUI. So here we can see the files which is not committed in the location. I hope you can see the files clearly. Let me expand it. So now let's start with the Git status, where we can see whether we have any files in the staging or in the unstaged or in the staged changes. And let's do a Git status. And here we can see there's nothing to commit and the working tree clean. And this is something similar to the rescan. So if you click on rescan, we don't find any files in the unstaged and in the staged changes. So this is similar to what we have in the Git Bash and the Git GUI. So before we move on to how to use the Git Add, so let's have a quick look on what exactly is the Git Add command and what does it do. Basically, this Git Add command add files to the staging area from this location to this location, from the unstaged to the staged changes. Whereas the Git commit command will write the changes to the repository permanently. We'll see about the Git commit detail in a separate video. For now, it's completely into the Git Add. So when we complete an important feature where we make a small change or any important change, we will need to create a snapshot of that change and we'll have to save it to the Git repository. So to achieve that, we'll do the commit. But in Git, there is an intermediate step before we do the commit. And that particular step does not exist in any other version control systems. And that intermediate step is called the staging area, which we see here in the green color. And the staging area is also known as index. And this staging area can be used to build up a set of changes that we want to commit together. And the git add command can be used to push changes in the working area to the staging area. So any change that we make in the file will be in the unstaged changes. And when we click on add or when we do the git add, the file moves from the unstaged, which is the working area, to the staged changes, which is the indexed area. And by simply putting the git add command is something like a photographer who positions all the people for a group photo, while the git commit is like the photographer actually snapping the picture. And that's the difference between the git add and the git commit. So git add is something like positioning all the people, and git commit is snapping the picture. And this staging area allows us to preview the changes before they are finalized. So now let's see this with few examples. So there are various ways to do the git add. So first, let me create a file. So to create a file, let me create echo hello file1.py. The file is created. Let me create another file. Let me create one more file. So this is for the example. So the first example. So far we have created 3 different files. Let's do a git status to see the status of the files. So here we can see clearly that these files are untracked. So any changes that we make in the file is untracked. Let's now see what is the content inside the file. So let's do that. We'll have to vim. So I'm clicking on vim and file1.py. And here we can see the line that we have entered under the echo command. So we have the file here. Let us exit the vim editor. And same way, let's see the other files as well. So we have the same lines in the other files. So we have not committed those files and they are still untracked. So if we try to do a commit, let's try to do a commit of the files. So I'm doing a commit, which is the first commit. Let's see what happens. So it says nothing added to the commit. So without doing an add, no files will get committed. So to commit any file, we'll have to do the intermediate step, which I have told you in the beginning of the video. We have to perform the intermediate of adding the file from the working directory to the staged change. Let's now see the same here. So here we don't find any files in the unstaged and staged changes. So this rescan is something like the Git status. Let's do a rescan and see. So after I click the rescan, we could see all these 3 files with their content here, with whatever content we have given in the file. And they are currently in the unstaged change. So now let's add those files. So to add that particular file, we'll have to use the command, which is the git add file1.txt, and I'm clicking on enter. Sorry, it's git add file1.py. So now the file is added, and let's do a git status and see. So now we could see the file is in a green colored shade, so which is the file is committed, or which is ready to commit, which you can see that is just ready to commit, and the other 2 files are still untracked. So let's now go to the Git GUI and see what happens. So let's do a rescan, which is similar to the Git status. And here we could see the file 1 has moved to the staged changes, which means it has started to get tracked. But still the file 2 and file 3 are still under the unstaged changes. So to bring that, we'll have to add those files, and then we have to bring it here. So there are various options. Say, for example, if you have multiple files to add at the same time where you make multiple changes. So there's an option to do that. So we'll have to do git add, and a period or a dot will add all the files to the directory, irrespective of any changes or any extensions that we have for the file. So let's do a git status and see. So here we could see all the files have been added and moved to the staging area, which is the indexing area. Let's now do a rescan in the Git GUI, and that will help us to understand how better the changes are happening. So let's do a rescan here. And here we can see all these files have moved to the staged changes, which is they are ready for the commit. So let's complete this example with this commit. So there are a lot of options to do the commit, so which we will see that in a separate video. So for now, let's complete this files commit number 1. Close this for now. And if we go again and do a git status to see, and those files have been moved to the repository, and that's why we don't find that in the tracked or untracked area. Let's do the same in the Git GUI. Let's do a rescan here, and here we could see there are no files, the unstaged or staged, and they are currently in the repository. So that's the first example. So let's now see a few more examples. So for that, let's add a few more, let's create a few more files. Adding a few more files here. Same way, we are adding 3 files again to check this example. So here, before that, let's do a git status and see. So we have 3 untracked files. Even let's check if that is the same in the Git GUI. So we have 3 untracked files, and we have already seen about adding all the files with the git add dot. So again, there is a drawback where we might be recording or we might be adding a file which is not required. So there are various other options to add the file, something like using using a regular expression, which is using a shell command. So let's see in this example of how to do it. So there is an example where we can add file with a regular expression. Say, for example, we have readme 1, 2, and 3. So let me add this. So I have read star dot md. Or I can choose this way where I can choose a file where readme 1 dot star. So this will add the file with readme1.md, which is the extension, and let's see how does it work. So let's see how does the regular expression works. So I'm giving a command which tells that git add readme1.star, which is the regular expression. And let's see the git status and see what file has been added. So here we can see that the first file, which is the readme1.md, has been staged. Let's confirm it here. So here we could see the file readme1.md has moved from the unstaged to the staged area. So let's now use the same command, same regular expression command, and add the other file. So let's see what example can we do or what kind of regular expression do we need. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm giving the command git add readme star.md, and let's see how does it work. I'm giving an enter and see. So here we could see that both the files 2 and 3, readme 2 and readme 3, has been successfully moved from the unstaged to the stage change. Let me rescan, and here we could see the readme 2 and readme 3 has been successfully moved from the unstaged to the staged area. Let's do a git status, and here we could see all the files have been moved. So let's commit and post this and send it to the repository. So readme commit. So with this, we have tried git add a particular file and git add dot, which committed all the files in the working directory. And then we have used a regular expression where we have used the star to pick the files. And now let's do another example where we create a file under a directory, and we will see how to add those files. So now let's see how to add the files in a different directory. So let us see what are the files we have, and we have a test folder. Let's move into the test folder, and let's create some files, and then let's see how to add a particular directory. So let's create some files here. Directory file 1 file 6 directory file 2.py. So this is just an example, so that's the reason I'm giving with small changes in files. So now we have created 3 different files under the directory. Let's do a git status here. So now we have 3 different files under a particular directory to be staged. So let's now go to the Git GUI and see how does it work. So now we can see that under the test directory and the test folder, we could see 3 files which are untracked. So let's now add those files. So we'll go back to the previous directory. Now we are the previous directory and we have the test folder under the current working folder. And let's add those files and see how does it work. So we'll give the command, which is the git add test and a backslash and a forward slash. And if we are sure about the files which comes with the same extension, we can add those files. Let's do that now in the example. So I'm clicking with that regular expression with star dot UI. So this star will actually pick up any character which are in which are before the dot. So whatever files which are under the test folder and which has the extension .py will be added. And here we could see the files have been added. So let's do a git status, and here we could see all the files under the directory has been added to the staged area. And let's confirm that in the Git GUI. So here I'm clicking on rescan, and all the files have moved from the unstaged to the staged. Let's commit it to avoid any other confusions. Commit directory example 1. So let's now do the same directory add with a different format without adding any extension. And let's see how does it work, like adding the total directory. The same way, let's go inside the test directory or the test folder. Let's create 3 different files or just 2 different files again. Directory x2.py. x3.py. We have 2 files we added from the working directory to the staged changes. Let's confirm the same. Let's go back. So let's try the add with a different option. So now we are going to add the folder. So let me try with git add. Before that, let me check in which folder I am. So I'm in the parent folder, and we have a child folder, which is the test, and we are going to add all the files under the test folder without giving the extension and just the directory folder name. And let's see how does it work. So I'm giving a git add and the test folder backslash and a forward slash. And that has saved all the files. So by using this method, we can add all the files under the directory even without specifying the file names. So now we have seen various examples of how to add the files from a unstaged change to a staged change, and then by doing a commit, we have completely moved the file from the stage change to the repository. So far we saw about how to add a file with different commands, where we have started adding a file with git add and the file name, the particular file name which we want to add. And then we used git add and a dot or a period to add all the files under the unstaged and move it to the stage change. And then we have used the regular expression, which is using the star symbol, and we have added those files, and then we have added the files under a particular directory. So we saw how to do the git status and see how does or what is the status of the files, and we have added them from the unstaged change to the stage change by doing the git add command, which is the intermediate step before you move any working file from the working directory to the repository. So we have this intermediate step of doing this git add, and without doing the git add, we cannot commit any file. So which I'm again giving a recap. So git add is something like making every people to bring in and put them in front of the screen, and then git commit is taking a snapshot of everybody in the picture or in the frame. So git add must be done before you move the file to the git commit. So with that, we come to an end, and I believe this video would be very useful to you. Please do subscribe to our channel, like and comment your questions and feedback in the comment section. So until we meet in the next video, it's bye-bye from Basant Shanmugam and Little's Law.